Think about the communities that you have been a part of. From your childhood home to your elementary school classes, to your friend group throughout your teenage years, perhaps a faith community before this one, or a scouting group, or a sport team. Perhaps you've had community at a workplace, or a group of neighbors all living on the same block or the same floor. Perhaps in your adult years, you've had a friend group that would get together for shared meals or games or even vacations together. Or a different workplace community. I imagine that you've had faces and names sort of filtering through your minds, and maybe you've imagined the faces of your current communities. Maybe you've imagined and remembered communities that don't exist in the same way anymore. Perhaps you've remembered a community that I didn't quite describe, but is meaningful in your experience. The truth is that while we are all individuals, we are all created by God, as we explored last week, we also exist in community. We exist in relationship to one another. And in 2026, we experience community differently than many have experienced it previously. Once upon a time, it was not at all uncommon to live in the same small community as your extended family. Not just your parents, but your grandparents, your great aunts, your great uncles, your second cousins, your third cousins, and you would all know each other. Once upon a time, it was not at all uncommon to spend your adult years in the same community in which you were raised. So your toddler best friend was your adult best friend. Once upon a time, it was not at all uncommon to get a job upon graduation and keep that job until you retired. Now in 2026, for many, if not most of us, one or two or even all of those things are no longer true. But despite all these changes, our need for community has not changed. Psalm 133 names it clearly, "Look how good and how pleasing it is when families live together as one." But a different Bible translation puts it even better, "How good and pleasant it is when kindred live together in unity." How good and how pleasant. Not because we are not good as individuals, but because life is a lot. In case you haven't figured this out, life is a lot, and we need one another to get through it. So that, as we chatted with the children a little bit ago, when we're struggling, others can come alongside and support us. When we have capacity, we are able to come alongside those who are struggling and be the support. Now, all of that said, admittedly, community is not without its challenges. Whether community is our blood families, which at our very earliest of communities, we have no choice over. right? And we're born into those situations, and sometimes they are healthy and good and full of love, and other times less so. And as adults, our blood families, our chosen families are also challenging at times because we are human. And even when they are the very best of the best, they are challenging. But the scriptures we heard this morning give us some guidelines on how to do community well. So take Paul's letter to the good folks of Thessalonica, who Paul was writing to a community that was known, and that community was known, and the challenges of that community were known. And so the letter is able to address particular concerns within that community, but as we listen into this letter, we get some solid advice on how to be in community. Show respect. Think of them with love. Live in peace. Be direct with those who are disorderly. Offer comfort to those who are discouraged. Help those who are weak. Be patient with everyone. Pursue the good for each other and everyone else, not the wrong. Rejoice always. Pray continually. Give thanks. Pay attention to the Spirit at work. Examine everything and hold on to the good. Avoid evil. Stay dedicated to God. And then if you caught it at the end of the letter, when you get to the end of the list, remember to start all over again and make sure everyone continues to hear it. We were told to read this letter aloud to everyone to make sure they get it. Now, it is very tempting to focus on ourselves. What we need, what's good for me, what's good for me no matter what it does to anybody else. And there is admittedly times when it is really important to focus in on what you need and to focus and do that. But we must never lose sight of our interconnectedness. We must never let go of community because it's in connection that we can know our God, who lives within and lives among us. It is in building and sustaining community that we all can thrive. I invite us to take a look at this clip from the Artemis II, wherein Jeremy Hansen is sharing some wisdom.
The purpose of humanity is joy and lifting one another up, creating together versus destroying. And that's how I launched. And I launched with the expectations. We often say in this crew, we don't want to set expectations, but I launched with the expectation that I would see the proof of it with my own eyes, and I definitely have. And I think that's really reassuring. And we're glad that we can remind people that we can do better as a human race by lifting one another up and collaborating. Alors, merci pour la question. C'est vraiment important pour nous à penser des choses comme ça.
Did you hear? The purpose of humanity is joy and lifting one another up, creating together versus destroying. And we are reminded that we can do better as a human race by lifting one another up and collaborating. Church, as our world likes to silo us and keep us in separate places, part of being the faith community is about being intentional, being intentionally in relationship. It's not always easy. We do not always all agree. In fact, we very easily disagree on theology. Was Jesus born of a virgin or not? Was Jesus bodily resurrected or not? Believe me when I tell you, I have heard from all of you very different opinions and views and beliefs on this, and it's okay. We can easily disagree about what type of music we should have in church. We can easily disagree about what the children should be up to. We can easily disagree about what to do with the funds that we have at church. But it's okay. Because we can disagree, we can talk it out, because we strive to live as 1 Thessalonians 5 community. And we strive to live up to our mission statement. Following Jesus, we welcome all, love all, seek justice, and offer mercy to all. Friends, the world is hard right now. The world can be lonely right now. But look around. Seriously, turn, look around, and see who's seated beside you. And now I actually want you to look at the cameras and wave. Hi to Liz, and hi to Cindy, and hi to Beth and Judy, who are regularly watching. Whether you're here in this place or we know you're there with us in worship, we are together because our friends, our faith community is what holds us when life is hard. And often life is hard. And our faith community is what celebrates alongside us when life is joyful, and life is so very often joyful. Community is what reminds us of God within and among us, because each of us is created in God's image, and we are woven together. Thanks be to God. Amen.